What if a wildfire births a spirit of flame and vengeance? In 1948, Ojai's forest burns. A father hangs in its wake. Daniel Holt, driven mad by fire's hell, kills and flees into the ashes. The Char-Man rises, his charred form haunting California's hills near Ojai. His glowing eyes stalk the woods, his screams a warning to intruders. Tourists brave the trails, their cameras ready, their hearts pounding with fear. A pastor's ritual seeks to free him, facing his fiery wrath head-on. Will the Char-Man find peace or burn the forest forevermore? The California hills whisper secrets of ash and despair. Uncover this blazing tale, watch the mystery ignite now. The year was 1948, a dry autumn in Ojai, California. The forests around the valley were tender, their leaves brittle, their air heavy. A wildfire sparked, its flames roaring, its smoke a black shroud over the hills. Families fled, their homes ash, their screams lost in the fire's hungry crackle. Firefighters battled, their hoses weak, their faces blackened by the inferno's wrath. In a remote cabin, tucked deep in the woods, lived Samuel Holt, 52, and his son. Samuel was a recluse, his hands scarred, his life tied to the forest he loved. His son, Daniel, 24, was quiet, his eyes haunted, his mind a fragile thing. The fire closed in, its heat a demon, its glow a hell that broke Daniel's sanity. When the flames passed, rescuers found Samuel hanged, his body charred, his cabin a ruin. The scene was grim, the air thick with the stench of burnt wood and flesh. Samuel's neck bore a rope, his body scorched, his death a mystery in the ashes. Daniel was gone, his tracks lost, his presence a whisper in the smoldering woods. Rescuers spoke of madness, their voices low, their theory grim. Daniel had snapped. They said the fire's horror, its hellish glow, drove him to kill his own father. Locals nodded, their tales forming, their fear naming Daniel the Char-Man. He's out there, they whispered, their eyes on the hills, their hearts uneasy. The forest stood silent, its trees blackened, its scars a testament to the blaze. Ojai mourned, its people shaken, their stories a warning of the wood's new guardian. The Char-Man's legend was born, the California hills a graveyard for the cursed. By 1950, the tale spread, its roots deep in Ojai's folklore. Firefighters spoke of a figure, its skin charred, its eyes glowing in the dark. They saw it near the cabin's ruins, its form a shadow, its scream a banshee's wail. A ranger named Thomas Reed, 35, patrolled the hills, his rifle ready. He'd heard the stories, his skepticism firm, his duty to protect the forest clear. One night he saw it, a figure, its body burnt, its movement a predator's stalk. Thomas froze, his flashlight dim, his voice lost as the figure turned to him. "Leave," it hissed, its voice raw, its eyes burning with a fire that never died. Thomas ran, his heart pounding, his tale adding fuel to the Char-Man's lore. The California hills held a secret, their guardian a spirit of vengeance and flame. By 1952, the legend grew, its grip on Ojai tightening. Locals avoided the hills, their paths rerouted, their fear a quiet undercurrent. A hunter named Clara Evans, 28, ventured in, her bow ready, her courage bold. She'd heard of the Char-Man, her laughter loud, her belief in ghosts a child's tale. At dusk she saw him, his skin peeling, his scream a roar that shook the trees. Clara dropped her bow, her breath caught, her mind racing as he charged her way. She fled, her ankle twisting, her screams echoing through the charred forest. Rescuers found her days later, alive but shaken, her eyes seeing only flames. She spoke of the Char-Man, her voice trembling. He protects what's his, he burns. The California hills stood as a warning, the Char-Man's wrath a living curse. By 1960, The Char-Man's legend was a staple in Ojai, California. The hills around the valley stood scarred, their trees sparse, their air heavy with memory. Locals spoke of Daniel Holt, the son who killed, his spirit now a guardian of fire. They called him the Char-Man, his skin burnt, his screams a warning to intruders. A logger named Hank Carter, 40, worked the hills, his chainsaw loud, his mind focused. He'd heard the tales, his laughter gruff, his belief in ghosts a fool's errand. One evening he stayed late, his crew gone, his saw cutting through a blackened oak. A scream echoed, its tone raw, its source a figure emerging from the dusk. Hank dropped his saw, his heart racing, the Char-Man's glowing eyes fixed on him. "Leave my woods," the figure growled, its charred hand reaching, its heat unbearable. Hank ran, his boots slipping, his breath ragged, the Char-Man's scream chasing him. He stumbled, his arm burning, a mark seared where the figure had touched him. Hank survived, his story vivid, his arm scarred with the shape of a charred hand. The town listened, their fear renewed, their tales of the Char-Man more urgent. Tourists began to come, their curiosity piqued, their hikes a hunt for the legend. A teenager named Billy Shaw, 16, ventured in with friends, their flashlights dim. They found the cabin's ruins, its walls ash, its air thick with a chilling presence. The Char-Man appeared, his form towering, his scream a blaze that lit the night. Billy's friends fled, their screams fading, his body found burned at the site. The California hills held a predator, the Char-Man's wrath a fire that never died. By 1970, the Char-Man was a draw, his legend a tourist trap. Ojai's locals sold maps, their warnings half-hearted, their profits tied to the tale. A journalist named Sarah Miles, 32, arrived, her notebook ready, her mind sharp. She'd heard of the Char-Man, her skepticism loud, her goal to debunk the myth. Sarah hiked to the cabin, her camera flashing, her steps crunching on charred ground. At dusk, the air thickened, a scream rising, the Char-Man's form emerging from shadow. She snapped a photo, her heart pounding, his voice a hiss. "You don't belong here." The figure charged, its heat scorching, Sarah's sleeve catching fire as she ran. She escaped, her arm burned, her photo showing a charred figure with glowing eyes. The California hills became a stage, the Char-Man's legend a fire that burned bright. By 1980, the Char-Man's hauntings grew darker, his anger sharper. A hiker named Tom Reed, 25, camped near the cabin, his fire small, his tent sturdy. He'd heard the stories, his curiosity strong, his friends daring him to stay the night. At midnight, a scream woke him, its tone feral, the Char-Man standing over his tent. Tom's fire flared, the flames unnatural, the figure's voice a growl. "This is mine." He ran, his tent burning, his skin singed, his screams lost in the California night. Rescuers found him, his mind fractured, his tale of the Char-Man a warning to all. Ojai's locals tightened their warnings, their maps marked, their fear a living thing. The hills stood as a battleground, the Char-Man's spirit a protector of ash and ruin. The legend of the California wizard burned on, its flames a curse on the unwary. By 1990, the Char-Man's legend gripped Ojai, California, tight. The hills around the valley stood as a warning, their scars a map of the 1948 fire. Locals avoided the cabin's ruins, their steps cautious, their tales a constant refrain. Tourists flocked, their cameras ready, their hikes a hunt for the Char-Man's glow. A park ranger named Alina Cruz, 38, patrolled the area, her radio crackling. She'd grown up in Ojai, her father a firefighter, his stories of the Char-Man vivid. Alina scoffed at the tales, her training firm, her duty to keep the hills safe. One night, she saw him, his form charred, his eyes glowing, his scream a fiery roar. "Leave," he hissed, his heat searing. Elena's sleeve singed as she backed away. The California hills held a guardian, the Char-Man's wrath, a flame that never cooled. Elena reported the sighting, her voice shaky, her skepticism shattered by the encounter. Her colleagues listened, their faces grim, their own tales of the Char-Man surfacing. A hiker named Jake Carter, 22, went missing that summer, his pack found burned. Rescuers searched, their dogs uneasy, their findings grim charred bones near the cabin. The town whispered, their fear renewed, the Char-Man's name a curse on their lips. A psychic named Miriam Holt, 45, arrived, her crystals glowing, her senses sharp. She'd heard of the Char-Man, her mission clear to contact Daniel Holt's spirit. Miriam sat up near the cabin, her candles lit, her chants echoing through the night. The Char-Man appeared, his form raging, his voice a scream. "You can't stop me." Miriam fled, her crystals shattered, her tale adding fuel to the California legend. By 2000, the Char-Man was a phenomenon, his story a draw for the brave. A documentary crew arrived, their cameras rolling, their leader a skeptic named Roy Blake. Roy, 35, sought fame, his disbelief loud, his team eager for footage. They camped near the cabin, their lights bright, their laughter cutting the silence. At midnight, the air thickened, a scream rising, the Char-Man's form charging from the dark. Roy's camera caught it, his lens melting, his scream joining the figure's fiery roar. The crew fled, their footage shaky, their tale of the Char-Man a viral sensation. Ojai's locals watched, their warnings ignored, their hills a stage for the spirit's wrath. The California hills stood as a graveyard, the Char-Man's legend a fire that burned on. The forest whispered, its ashes alive, its guardian a spirit of vengeance and flame. By 2010, the Char-Man's hauntings grew darker, his presence bolder. A teenager named Lily Shaw, 17, hiked with friends, their dares a reckless game. They reached the cabin, its ruins eerie, its air thick with the scent of old fire. The Char-Man appeared, his form towering, his scream a blaze that lit the night. Lily's friends ran, their screams fading, her body found burned at the sight. The town mourned, their fear a weight, the Char-Man's name a curse on their tongues. Rangers increased patrols, their warnings stark, their hope to end the hauntings slim. Locals spoke of a ritual, their voices low, their plan to free Daniel Holt's spirit. The California hills stood as a battleground, the Char-Man's wrath a living inferno. The legend of the California wizard endured, its flames a curse on the unwary. By 2020, the Char-Man's legend was a fixture in Ojai, California. The hills around the valley stood scarred, their history a tale of fire and death. Locals spoke of Daniel Holt, the son who killed, his spirit a guardian of ash. Tourists came in droves, their hikes reckless, their cameras hunting the Char-Man. A firefighter named Marcus Reed, 42, patrolled the hills, his axe heavy. He'd fought fires in Ojai for years, his father a ranger, his stories of the Char-Man grim. Marcus dismissed the tales, his focus on the dry woods, his fear of another blaze. One night he saw him, his form charred, his eyes glowing, his scream a fiery roar. "Leave my woods," the Char-Man growled, his heat searing, Marcus's arm singed. The California hills held a predator, the Char-Man's wrath a flame that never died. Marcus escaped, his arm scarred, his tale a warning to his fellow firefighters. He spoke to the town, his voice steady. "We need to end this, Daniel needs peace." A local elder named Clara Evans, 65, listened, her knowledge of lore deep. She'd grown up in Ojai, her grandmother a witness to the 1948 fire's horror. Clara proposed a ritual, her voice firm, her plan to free the Char-Man spirit. She gathered a group, their candles ready, their prayers a shield against the dark. They trekked to the cabin, its ruins a scar, its air thick with the Char-Man's presence. At dusk he appeared, his form raging, his scream ablaze. "You can't stop me." Clara chanted, her voice rising, her group trembling as the Char-Man charged. The California hills shook, The Char-Man's wrath, a fire that tested their resolve. The ritual faltered, the Char-Man's heat intense, his eyes burning with rage. Clara held her ground, her prayer a plea. "Daniel, let go, find your peace." The figure paused, its form softening, its voice a whisper. "I protect what's mine." A wind rose, the air cooling, the Char-Man's glow dimming for the first time. He spoke again, his tone softer. "Father, I failed you, I burn for it." Clara's group prayed harder, their voices a chorus, their faith a light in the dark. The Char-Man's form faded, his scream a sigh, his spirit feeling the ritual's pull. The forest stilled, the air warming, the hills quiet for the first time in decades. Clara wept, her hope real, her ritual a step toward ending the curse. The California hills stood as a testament, the Char-Man's legend a fire that cooled. By 2030, the Char-Man's haunting slowed, his presence weaker. Ojai's locals noticed, their hikes safer, their tales of the Char-Man less frequent. Marcus returned to the cabin, his axe at his side, his heart lighter than before. He felt a chill, a whisper of heat, a faint glow where the Char-Man once stood. "It's not over," he murmured, his eyes on the hills, his duty to the forest clear. Tourists still came, their cameras ready, their hikes a hunt for the legend's echo. A hiker named Anna Blake, 28, saw a faint glow, her scream piercing the night. She survived, her story viral, the Char-Man's name a whisper in the digital age. The California hills held a memory, their guardian a spirit still tied to the ash. The legend of the California wizard endured, its flames a flicker, not a blaze. By 2040, the Char-Man's legend was a shadow in Ojai, California. The hills around the valley stood greener, their scars healing, their air lighter. Locals spoke of Daniel Holt with pity, their tales of the Char-Man softer now. Clara Evans, now 85, lived quietly, her ritual a memory, her faith strong. She'd led the 2020 prayer, her group's chants a bridge to free Daniel's spirit. The hauntings had slowed, the Char-Man's glow faint, his screams a whisper in the wind. A ranger named Lucas Carter, 32, patrolled the hills, his radio silent. He'd grown up on the stories, his father a firefighter, his belief in the Char-Man real. One night he saw a faint glow, its form human, its voice soft. "I'm sorry." The California hills held a spirit, the Char-Man's wrath a flame that finally cooled. Lucas reported the sighting, his voice calm, his hope rising with the encounter. He spoke to Clara, his respect deep. "I think he's at peace," he spoke to me. Clara smiled, her eyes wet. Daniel's free, but the forest remembers his pain. The town listened, their fear fading, their hikes no longer a hunt for terror. A museum opened in Ojai, its exhibits small, its walls lined with the 1948 fire's relics. Photos of the cabin, Samuel's rope, and Clara's prayer book told the Char-Man's tale. Visitors came, their whispers soft, their respect a tribute to the past. Some felt a chill, heard a whisper, saw a glow, their tales a quiet echo. Clara visited, her steps slow, her heart light. He's at rest, finally at rest. The California hills stood as a monument, their history a blend of fire and peace. By 2050, the Char-Man was folklore, his terror a distant memory. Ojai's locals hiked freely, their paths clear, their tales of the Char-Man nostalgic. A teenager named Mia Reed, 16, hiked with friends, their laughter bright. They reached the cabin's ruins, its stones weathered, its air warm with the sun. Mia felt a chill, a whisper of heat, a faint glow where the Char-Man once stood. She smiled, her voice soft. "He's watching, but he's not angry anymore." Her friends nodded, their fear gone, their hike a tribute to the forest's healing. The town celebrated, their festivals green, their stories a lesson in redemption. The California hills stretched on, their beauty vast, their history a quiet song. The Char-Man's legacy shifted, his spirit a guardian of peace, not vengeance. By 2060, The Char-Man was a tale, its horror a chapter closed. A memorial rose near the cabin, its plaque simple, honoring Samuel and Daniel Holt. Lucas unveiled it, his voice steady. Let this be a place of healing, not fear. The forest whispered, its trees tall, its scars a memory of the 1948 fire. Locals felt the change, their hearts lighter, their hills no longer a haunt. Visitors came, their steps gentle, their respect a nod to the fallen. The Char-Man became a symbol, his story one of forgiveness, not flame. Clara passed in 2055, her legacy the ritual, her faith a light. The California hills stood as a testament, their guardian at peace, their curse lifted. Ojai thrived, its history a story, its future a promise of light, not shadow. By 2070, the Char-Man's legend was a whisper in Ojai, California. The hills around the valley stood lush, their scars faded, their air clean and bright. The memorial near the cabin stood proud, its plaque a tribute to Samuel and Daniel. A young historian named Ella Shaw, 35, curated the museum, her passion deep. She was Lucas Carter's daughter, her mission to preserve the story, her heart open. Ella displayed Clara's prayer book, Samuel's photo, and a charred piece of rope. Visitors came, their whispers soft, their eyes on the relics of the 1948 fire. Some felt a warmth, heard a sigh, saw a glow, their tales a gentle echo. Ella smiled, her voice warm. Daniel's at peace, the forest remembers him kindly. The California hills stood as a sanctuary, their history a blend of dark and light. The forest stretched on, its beauty vast, its history a whisper in the pines. Ojai thrived, its past a story, its future a promise of growth, not flame. Locals hiked with ease, their steps light, their tales of the Char-Man fond. Ella led tours, her voice steady, her stories of Daniel and Samuel a lesson. The hills gleamed under the sun, their trees a canopy, their past a quiet song. A festival began, the Ojai Firelight Days, its lanterns lit, its tales shared with pride. Children played, their laughter bright, their games a tribute to the forest's healing. The Char-Man became folklore, his name a story, his threat a distant memory. The California hills stood as a monument, their redemption complete, their peace real. Daniel Holt's spirit was at rest, his legacy a tale of forgiveness, not fire. The uncharted mysteries of the hills were solved, their echoes a California song. The forest whispered, its trees alive, its scars a memory of the 1948 blaze. Ella wrote a book, her words a bridge, her story a connection to the past. The hills held their secrets, their glow gone, their whispers a gentle breeze. Locals felt the peace, their hearts full, their land no longer a graveyard. Visitors felt the change, their steps gentle, their respect a nod to the healed. The Char-Man's tale became a lesson, its history a story of healing, not horror. The legend of the California wizard faded into peace, its flames a memory. Ojai stood proud, its hills a sanctuary, its legacy one of light, not shadow. The forest's guardian was at rest, its story a testament to redemption's power. If this tale of the Char-Man stirred your heart with its fiery grip, if Clara's fight to free Daniel made you feel the forest's haunting pulse, if the mystery of the charred spirit left you breathless, seeking more tales, show your support, give this video a like to honor the spirits of Ojai. Join us on this journey into the unexplained, where legends whisper in the woods. Subscribe for more stories of mystery, history, and the truths we dare to face. What do you think the California hills still hide? What secrets linger in the ash? Drop your thoughts below, let's uncover the mysteries together. The legacy of the unseen endures. A new chapter awaits your curiosity. Your wonder lights the path forward, let's walk it as one.